Transform your responses to rude remarks. Ever had someone throw a rude comment your way that just stops you in your tracks? Like you're standing in line at the grocery store, juggling your bags, and the person behind you snaps, "Can you move any slower?" I had a moment like that last winter, right in the middle of a crowded coffee shop. I was waiting for my order, scrolling through my phone, when a guy at the counter barked, "Some of us have places to be, lady." My face burned and I froze, torn between snapping back and pretending I didn't hear him. You know that feeling, don't you? When a stranger's words sting and you're left replaying the moment, wishing you'd handled it better? That day I mumbled an apology and scurried out, but the encounter stuck with me. It wasn't just about the rude guy, it was about how I let his words ruin my morning. A chance conversation with an old friend taught me something that changed everything. I learned that how you respond to rude remarks can shift not just the moment, but how you feel about yourself. Let me share how I transformed the way I handle those cutting comments, because if you're navigating life in your 30s, 40s, or 50s, this might help you walk away from rudeness with your head held high. I've never been great at dealing with confrontation. Growing up, I was taught to keep the peace, smile through awkward moments, and avoid making waves. But as an adult, that habit left me swallowing my feelings whenever someone was rude. At work, if a coworker made a snarky remark about my ideas, I'd laugh it off but stew for hours. In public, like that coffee shop moment, I'd shrink, letting the other person's words define the interaction. It wasn't just the rudeness that got to me. It was the way I'd beat myself up afterward, thinking, why didn't I say something? Why do I let people walk all over me? Those moments piled up, chipping away at my confidence. That coffee shop incident wasn't the worst I'd faced, but it hit me hard. It was a tough week. Work was stressful, my kids were acting out, and I was already feeling like I couldn't keep up. That guy's comment felt like a kick when I was down. I spent the rest of the day replaying it, imagining clever comebacks I'd never say. By bedtime, I was exhausted, not from the rudeness, but from letting it take over my headspace. I knew I needed a better way to handle these moments because life's too short to let strangers or even coworkers steal your peace. A few weeks later, I was catching up with my friend Tom over burgers at a local diner. Tom's one of those people who just radiates calm, no matter what's going on. I told him about the coffee shop, how I'd frozen, how it still bothered me. He leaned back, took a sip of his soda and said, "You know, rude people are just handing you their bad day. You don't have to take it." I must have looked confused because he grinned and added, "Next time, don't react. Respond. Take a second, decide what you want out of the moment and own it. You're not there to fix their attitude. You're there to protect your own." It sounded so simple, but it was like a light bulb went off. I'd been reacting on autopilot, letting rudeness pull me into a spiral. What if I could choose my response instead? That conversation stuck with me, and I started experimenting with ways to handle rude remarks that didn't leave me feeling small. Over time, I found a few tricks that worked, and they've changed how I move through the world. Here's what I learned. The first thing I started doing was taking a quick breath before responding. It's like hitting pause on the moment. When a coworker snapped at me during a meeting, saying, "That idea is never gonna work," I wanted to shrink or fire back. Instead, I took a deep breath, counted to 3 in my head and said, "Thanks for the feedback, I'll think it over." It wasn't a comeback, but it was calm and it kept me in control. That pause gave me a second to decide how I wanted to show up, instead of letting their words dictate my reaction. Another trick was reframing the rudeness as their problem, not mine. I started telling myself, this isn't about me, it's about them. Like when a driver yelled at me for merging too slowly, I could have flipped him off or driven home fuming. Instead, I thought, sounds like he's having a rough day. It didn't excuse the behavior, but it took the sting out. I even smiled and waved, which felt like a tiny win. Seeing their rudeness as their baggage, not my failure, made it easier to let go. I also found power in neutral responses that didn't escalate. You don't always need a zinger to feel strong. One day, a cashier was short with me, muttering, "People need to read the signs." Normally, I'd have apologized or walked away embarrassed. Instead, I looked her in the eye, said, "Have a good one," and left. It was simple, but it shut down the negativity without adding fuel. Those neutral replies like, "I hear you," or "Thanks for letting me know," became my go-to. They let me walk away without carrying the interaction with me. The biggest game changer was choosing to respond with kindness when it felt right. Not fake niceness, but genuine warmth. I tried it at a parent-teacher meeting when another mom made a snide comment about my son's messy backpack. Instead of getting defensive, I smiled and said, "Yeah, we're working on it. Kids, right?" She softened and we ended up chatting. It wasn't about winning, it was about staying true to who I am. Kindness didn't always change the other person, but it always left me feeling better. Looking back, that coffee shop moment feels like a lifetime ago. I still run into rude people. Who doesn't? But now I don't let their words hijack my day. I'm not perfect at it, but I'm better at choosing responses that protect my peace. Last week, a guy at the gas station grumbled about me taking too long at the pump. I took a breath, said, "Hope your day gets better," and drove off, windows down, music up. It felt good to let it go. If you're tired of rude remarks getting under your skin, try one of these ideas next time it happens. Maybe it's taking a quick breath or reminding yourself it's their problem, not yours. And hey, drop a comment below. What's a rude remark you wish you'd handled differently? Your story could spark something for someone else. If this hit home, hit that red subscribe button to catch more ways to navigate life's tough moments, or share this with a friend who could use it. Here's the thing. You can't control what people say, but you can control how you respond, and that's where your power lies.